Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Mr. Elliot Venruki Venzel, bringing you another video. This is going to be actually a QA video, which is kind of a series I was interested in doing. Some of you guys have been asking me a lot of questions, whether it be about WoW or my personal life. And I figured this might be a good way to get some additional YouTube content in addition for you guys to sort of get to know me a little bit better and have me answer some questions in a little bit more detail that you guys might have. I think I got like 7 or 8 questions here today for you. They were taken from my Twitter, the hashtag AskVen, I believe. First question we have is, what are your 3 favorite TV shows of all time? Now, I could say the obvious ones, like Game of Thrones is obviously amazing. Breaking Bad is obviously amazing. I mean, the ones I'm going to mention are pretty well known, but some that you might not expect, television shows that I really, really love. Black Mirror is one of them. I think the uniqueness of the show, with the writing and every single episode being different actors and a completely different story, it's just super duper interesting. Definitely one of my favorites to watch. Really looking forward to the next season. Another kind of, I guess Black Mirror is kind of known at this point, but a little less obvious one is a show called Boston Legal. It's an old comedy. Oh, hey, little Misty. It's an old comedy slash sort of lawyer television series that has amazing acting, amazing actors in it, really, really good writing. It's a little bit of an older show, so a lot of people haven't seen it, but yeah, if you want to check it out, it's called Boston Legal, one of my favorites for sure. Little Misty wants to leave, so you're gonna quickly let her out. The last show that I really have been enjoying, I mentioned Breaking Bad. Now this show is sort of the runoff of that with Better Call Saul, and I gotta say, getting into season 3, season 4, it's been incredible. I just love the story of a guy, who doesn't necessarily have all the advantages, but his wit and his ability to sort of outthink people sort of gets him ahead and through his journey, and I've been enjoying it a lot. So definitely recommend Better Call Saul as well. Now, next question we have here is, what's your ideal PvP meta, and what season did you have the most fun competing in? Competing, I gotta say, like, probably my favorite PvP expansion of all time is gonna be Wrath of the Lich King. That is when I competed the most. I played, through a lot of expansions and competed in tournaments, but Wrath of the Lich King, I gotta say, is probably my favorite. The reason for it, Wrath of the Lich King had really, really good consistent damage, so it wasn't all about cooldown trading. You had consistent damage throughout the game. If someone was out of position, you could punish them for it, and it felt a little less scripted than what we see in expansions like Warlords of Draenor and somewhat Legion, maybe even Battle for Azeroth. But yeah, that's got to be my favorite. In terms of what season, I don't really have a specific season in Wrath of the Lich King. I kind of just enjoyed all of them, particularly the later seasons. I liked a lot. Here's another question. What valuable insights have you gained from your career as an esports caster? Valuable insights. Well, I gotta say, I've learned it takes a lot of work by a lot of people to put on these events, people that are very, very passionate about the projects. For myself, it's been a growing experience, whether it's just like talking on camera in front of people, because that's something I really, really struggled with when I was younger, even into my 20s. You can go watch old interviews of me, and it was awkward. It was really, really awkward, and it's something I wanted to improve upon, and I thought getting into casting would sort of make me jump into the deep end, so to speak, to get a little bit better with it, get a little bit more practice. But it's incredible what a good feeling it is to be a part of a team, and be able to put these events on for people to enjoy. And it's also awesome to just see a lot of the players grow, become sort of bigger celebrities as they grow their own brand, their own Twitch channels, and get picked up by sponsors and stuff like that. It really, really is nice to see. And I've been in the WoW scene for so long. It's awesome to sort of be there as it's evolved into what it was, into what it now is in terms of production value and just all the little attention to detail that really goes into each and every event. Next question. How do you keep a healthy lifestyle? What are the reasons you change your lifestyle into a healthy one? So, yeah, a lot of you guys will make fun of what I eat and, you know, my exercise routines, you know, rock climbing and yoga and weightlifting and running. And I really do try to keep, and hiking, I really do try to keep as healthy a lifestyle as I can. You know, sitting in a chair all day long, it isn't the best thing for you. It's no surprise. And when I was in high school and, you know, my early 20s, I didn't feel good. Like I played a lot of WoW. It was a lot of fun for me. You know, I was competing, I was getting to go to tournaments, but I didn't have a lot of confidence, and I physically didn't feel good. I felt nauseous. I would get headaches, tension headaches in my neck from sitting all day long. And, you know, I didn't know what was wrong. I'd go to the doctors, they'd do blood work, and he said, you know what, everything's fine with your blood work. Like, why don't you just try moving your body? Like, you sit all day long. Like, that is not normal. That's what my doctor told me. He told me to get a personal trainer, go to the gym. So that's what I did. I got a gym membership at Gold's. And, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. I went and I would just do the same like 3 or 4 movements every single day, which is obviously a horrible thing to do. I had no idea how to train. I had no idea about nutrition. And one thing about me is, like, when I get into something, I sort of really get into it. So that's when I started like really focusing, you know, on learning how to train, learning diet just by watching YouTube videos and reading articles. And, you know, I would use my Fitness Pal to track my calories and, you know, jot down all of my workouts to really see improvements. And I took myself from about a little under 160 pounds to my max, which was 210 pounds. I was really into powerlifting and just gaining as much size as possible. Since then, I've sort of toned it back, and yeah, I've been doing a little bit more of a mixed variety, not so much into the powerlifting anymore. I don't really like being that super heavy weight, and I personally, for me, it was getting a little boring training that way. So I've recently gotten into other things, like I said, just things that sort of complement this lifestyle of sitting down and being sedentary so often in the day. It's part of the reason why I do 2 streams in one day as well, so I can have like a little bit of break midday, so I'm not sitting down for 9-10 hours straight, because it really does tax your body. And anyways, this has been a long-winded rant, but yeah, for me, it's just, it isn't even about, yeah, it's not about the way I look or anything like that. It's just about feeling good, and, you know, I want to feel good for a long time in my life. And training is something that not only do I really enjoy as I've done it more, it just is a really satisfying feeling, just feeling good. And when I don't do it, I don't feel good. So I just want to continue feeling good and being healthy. Yeah, so that's why I do the exercising that I do, and I eat the diet that I do as well, just because I want to feel good. All right, next question. How viable are Windwalker monks in 2s, 3s, and Rbg'S? And how do you feel about the tank meta in Rbg'S at the moment? It seems like Vengeance Demon Hunter is still good, but not a must-have. So I'm not an expert in Rbg'S right now. I do have a lot of friends that are experts, so I will pass on the little information that I do have. First of all, Windwalker monks in 2s, 3s, and Rbg'S, I think they're strong in all of them. Not necessarily the best, but I do think that they're viable. Windwalker monks, I think you can play with a Disc Priest. I think you can play with a Wrestler Shaman. I think you can play with a Paladin, a Druid, basically all of the healers in 2s, and do relatively well. 3s, you have a couple different compositions. I feel like Windwalker Lock Shaman, Shadow Priest, Windwalker Shaman, these compositions will be relatively strong. You can play some cleaves like Demon Hunter, Windwalker as well. And in Rbg'S, it's funny you mentioned Vengeance Demon Hunters. I think Windwalker's actually good at running down Vengeance Demon Hunters because you have such high mobility, and you can play the Eye of the Tiger specialization. Oh, not Eye of the Tiger, Tiger Eye Brew, where you ignore armor. You are actually exceptional at bursting down those tanks. So because of Touch of Deaths and Serenity and Tiger Eye Brew, you are really good at bursting down tanks, especially as they get more and more stacks, and you can actually keep up with a Vengeance Demon Hunter as a Windwalker monk. So I think that's one thing that they excel at, as well as base defending with the new Rushing Jade Wind. It lasts indefinitely. You just sit on the flag and no one can cap on you, and no one can at least ninja on you, which I think is really valuable. Next question. How do you think the recent mana regen changes will affect tournament entertainment from a viewer's point of view? So that's a good question. How will it affect the way we view tournaments? I think healers running out of mana is interesting because it forces teams to play in a certain way where they can either do like sort of an all-in strategy, you know, be really aggressive with their mana, with the shaman, with his offensive purges and stuff like that, or you can play it a little bit more cautious, go for drinks. An end result, I think, if healers are running out of mana, I think what happens is the games end up closing up faster, which in my opinion is good. Like, I don't think the game should be going on 15 minutes a game, you know? Like, I think a good like 2 to 5 minute game is probably a good spot to be in for a WoW arena match. So if that is the the place that it puts us, that's awesome, and I think it'll make viewing the tournaments a little bit better. I personally don't like going into 60% dampening in order for a game to end. I think healers running out of mana is like a knob they can turn in order to make sure that that kind of doesn't happen, because yeah, I think it's crazy that a healer can sustain that long. Next question, is trait stacking good or bad for PvP? So I've said it from the beginning, I think trait stacking is horrible for PvP. I think it's a lot more interesting if you're using a variety of traits. So yeah, a little bit more customization on your character. I don't think it's a good idea. Like, I'll give you an example with Windwalker monks. I don't think it was that cool that you put all your traits into Touch of Death, because you have a really strong Touch of Death, but outside of that, you really didn't add any flavor to your character or your rotation, and I think it's a shame. I think if you were more incentivized to not trait stack, then you would be able to customize a little bit more and you know, pick different options that sort of made sense, and we also wouldn't be in the situation where certain traits are just getting nerfed into oblivion, where they're really not that fun anymore. Like the Arcane Execute talent, for example. If it was just strong with one trait, not necessarily super strong, but if it was strong with one trait, that'd be a lot of fun. Now that people were abusing the trait stacking, it's been nerfed so much that if you only have one in that trait, it really doesn't give you that much of an extra benefit, which is a shame, in my opinion. Next question, how viable are Mistweaver monks at the moment, and PvE and PvP? Love the streams, thank you very much. Mistweaver monks seem really good in PvP and 3s. They seem insane. Rbg'S, I bet they're really good as well. They just have really good throughput. Unfortunately, they're still susceptible to CC and dying, but if you have some support on your team from like a hybrid class, like a elemental shaman or enhancement shaman that can keep you alive, you will keep them alive because you have the most healing of any class in the game. PvE, I expect Mistweaver monks to be fairly good as well. I don't think any healers are just straight up garbage in PvE, so Mistweaver monks seem like they have good utility and stuff like Mythic Plus, and I think in raids they'll be fine. But yeah, we got through those questions relatively fast. I think that was only 13 minutes, so not too bad. If you guys have any additional questions, or you feel like I didn't answer the questions to the best of my ability, let me know in the comment section. If you guys like these kind of videos, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. But yeah, it was fun, and hopefully this is something we can continue to do, and I can continue to give you my opinion and thoughts and feelings and stories about myself in the future. Thank you for watching. Have a great one. A great day, everyone.